Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Shut Door, or Door Should Have Come Back to you with episode 8, and today we are actually going to quickly take a look at backpacks, because I need one. I am getting irritated with not having enough room for basically any of my tools, so I just keep having to throw them in a chest and then find them later, and we're going to solve that. So we're going to get into sophisticated backpacks, not really too far, but just enough that we can actually get a little bit more storage for my tools, right? That's my main goal right now with this. So we're gonna create up to a diamond, and this force pack can go force itself off into the void because honestly, I could not care about that backpack. And now we open this. Of course, I have a lot more space than really needed, but we can throw all our tools in here and have them at our disposal at any time. And I think that is a fantastic idea. Like my linking, my configuration tools. Let's see, what else can I throw in here? Do I have a hoe in here? I do not. Let's take a hoe out of here. Um, hmm. The umbrella, that might not be a bad thing to have in here. A couple stacks of torches, another not bad thing. And then, of course, whenever we do this, we can actually go into backpack settings. And I believe, let's see, doodly-doo, yeah, this. And then, let's see, unselect. But if we click, yeah, if we click on these, see how it grays it out? This is actually locking all of the items. So save. And what happens is if I take out some, you can see that there's 2 slots destined for torches. So if I throw this in here, it'll go there. Same thing with like this umbrella. Take out my hoe, throw it back in there. And that is fantastic. So I always have a spot for these. The other thing is this actually is equipable. And if I can change the controls here, because I'm not sure what that's set to. Open backpack. Perfect. So now we have access to this from a control. So that way we don't have an inventory slot being used up by the force pack or anything like that. All right. So the next thing that I'm working on is getting some ferro flare lanterns, which are always a fantastic thing to have because they light up big areas. Actually, that is how I lit up this platform over here, which you guys have not seen yet. But I'm actually going to throw one of these down here, run back over in this direction so we can place one down right about here. And then, let's go for right about here. And what this will do is you can actually get rid of your torches after a little while. Actually, you could just get rid of them now. And you could have these actually light up. That's how this whole area over here is lit up. And I am going to talk about this. So, I have went ahead and off camera, I have removed the whole dust and gravel system from over there, the heating system, and moved it over here. Of course, the dust one is not done yet. But the gravel one is complete, and this is a maximum size windmill. It might be a little overkill on maximum, but that is fine. One of the things is you can see that we don't actually have enough gravel for these all to be running independently. Like you're getting maybe 1 or 2 pieces, which means that I'm probably going to increase the number of pedestals that are actually down here, but I'm going to do that in the future because I don't need to really worry about it. If I pop over here real quick, you can see that we already have, 8,000 nickel, 17,000 copper. We have, where's iron? 26,000 iron, 16,000 gold, 758 diamonds, 690 emeralds, 13,000 zinc. So it is definitely not something I'm worried about. But if we do need a lot more materials, all I have to do is add more pedestals. And then, of course, over here, we got room for crushed netherrack. We have room for dust. And then, of course, sand, because I want to get clay, kelp, all of that stuff without really needing to do any work for that. Let's get into the thing I want to get into this episode. Let's get into Botania here. So, first things first, let's make some floral fertilizer. This is one of the best ways to get Botania flowers, of course, but you do need grass, which is not hard to get. You just need pasture seed, which you get from dirt and a sieve. And I've got 40 floral fertilizer. And what we can do with this is that's why I have a patch of dirt down here that is turning into grass, is so we can actually start Botania and kind of have a little area set over here. But we're going to take the floral fertilizer and just right click, and you can see that we are getting a whole bunch of mystic flowers. And this is fantastic. And of course you can just keep right clicking until you get a whole bunch of these and harvest them up all at once. There is also the flower bag or something, I thought, at Botania. I know there is like a pouch. Is that what it's called? Yeah, this thing right here. You've got a flower pouch. If you craft this up, it actually allows for storage of mystical flowers. And I believe it's automatic pickup, but I can't fully recall. We're just going to pick all these bad boys up, and I have managed to break that pretty dang quickly here. So we just got a wide range of flowers, and I think real quick, let me grab a chest. All right, so let's get a petal apothecary here. And the first thing is we're going to take a flower of any kind, put that up there, do this, and then do this, and that is a petal apothecary. Then, of course, we always like to make things just a little bit easier. So let's quickly check this to make sure we're not getting anything strange. All right, so we're just getting a few little things there. But we're going to make a sink because this just makes petal apothecaries just a little bit easier to handle, so we don't have to make a 2x2 water source or anything like that. And that is a great joke. Sink or swim. I absolutely love it. Looks like we got some laser IO and a bucket of axolotl. And I'm going to ignore that reward, but petal apothecary can be placed down, and I'm just going to place the sink behind it. And of course, this is what I mean by making it easier, is that you can allow for, you know, infinite water source, and you can just right-click with a bucket to fill the petal apothecary. Okay. So now what we want to look at here is the... I guess we can grab this stuff. I don't think it's really the biggest issue. This actually is enough to make a pure daisy. That's what actually this is giving you. Because the shimmer... What are these called? Shimmering mushrooms are considered petals. And you can just throw 4 of those in there and a seed, and you get a pure daisy. So that's pretty cool. Alright. Something we'll have to look at in a second here. This gives us stone, wood, and a floating pure daisy. And a floating pure daisy is actually a little bit better than a normal pure daisy because it can be placed basically anywhere, I believe. So for example, if we place this right here and we place stone all around it, this would actually work, and you don't need to put a piece of grass under the pure daisy. So this is actually a lot more, you know, area saving because you could actually stack these, I believe, which would be pretty cool. So if you wanted to have like a pillar of rock or stone to make living rock, which is actually what this makes. And actually, if I had a Lexica Botania, which I don't even think I do. Also, apparently I have a flower pouch somewhere. But if I had the Lexica Botania, and I don't, let's see. How hard is it to make one of these? Oh, not hard at all. Let's go make one real quick. That to that makes this. Perfect. So this is actually just a real good idea to get anyway, just so you can look at all the shenanigans and everything, what everything does. So here's Pure Daisy. This can actually give you... Yeah, this flower will purify any adjacent wood and stone blocks into the purified counterparts, living wood and living rock. But in this mod pack, if we press use on Pure Daisy, you can see that there are a few other recipes in here that are pretty interesting. I don't think all of these are added by Botania, but, you know, it's okay. Some of them are, I know that for a fact, but, like, here's the Blaze Mesh to Obsidian recipe, but yeah, you can look at that. There are a few other things that we could look at, such as the Wand of the Forest. We'll need to make this once we get living wood, which is 3 living wood twigs, which is 2 living wood logs, so you need 6 living wood logs to actually get that, but here is living rock. And of course, just breaking this with any old pickaxe is fine. And then, of course, you know, you can plop down more of this. How do we actually get a floating pure daisy? I always kind of forget. Floating flowers are interesting. So you need a pasture seed, dirt, and then that. And then you combine that with whatever functional flower you want, I believe. Yeah, so we need to make this to actually then make a floating pure daisy. Okay, that's not hard, but this needs to be glimmering as well. Let's quickly go and try and make one of these. So let's grab the orange flower, and then I think I have some glowstone on me, so we can make this glimmering. And then I just need to sift up some dirt to get pasture seeds. Let's actually make sure pasture seeds. There's a few variations of these, apparently. I'm guessing that's like biome stuff. So yeah, andesite mesh, you get a 15% chance of getting this if you sieve dirt. Okay, so we've got the floating orange flower, and then we take the pure daisy, and that gives us a floating pure daisy, which is fantastic. Of course, this is definitely not where the pure daisy is going to stay. I think I'm actually going to put these down over here, just so we can get them out of the way a little bit. Let's go 1, 2, 3, and then place that there. Okay, we're going to place our stone down here. And then let's move this torch. I don't really think I need the torch, but we're going to place it back down. And then let's come over here. Let's actually grab our axe here. Perfect. And then we could pick this pure daisy up. For a second, I thought I just lost it, but no. And then we could place this down. Of course, remember, having a little bit of space between these is not terrible, just so that way you have the ability to walk around and mine. And let's go grab some logs. Actually, I have 8 on me. So now that we have this, we should be able to get 3 living wood twigs. And then the flower of our choice. I think I want to go red and I want to go black. That was not the flower I chose, but okay. So grab this, grab a crafting table. Fantastic. Let's get rid of that torch. Okay, and then let's go for this, and this, black, and then red. And it actually does matter which color you put in here, like, because it actually changes the image. So if you wanted to have your own personal color, you could do that. And of course, changing these does actually switch where they are in the image. And I think I want the red on the left. That sounds cool. All right, so now we have Wand of the Forest. And of course, that's another quest complete. And that gives us a Manasteel monocle, which actually is just a little helpful thing for Botania to actually see mana levels and a few other things in range. Actually, I think it's just range in this version, isn't it? But you can see if we hover over this, you can see the range at which this actually operates. All right, let's get a little bit more wood real quick and stone. I'm going to get a few pieces of this, and then I think we can continue. I mean, we really don't need a whole lot of this, do we? Yeah, I need a little bit more logs, so let me be right back. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit here. So, living rock, and then let's get the mana spreader, which actually needs a piece of gold. All right, so mana spreader. Let's get this mystical white petal out of here. And that gives us this. So the next thing we need to look at is, of course, how do we generate mana? Mana, of course, is the basic essence of Botania. And this is actually one of the... Okay, so this is just suggesting do whatever. Okay. Mana is made using special mana generating flowers. And easiest is the Endoflame. Of course, looking at this book does tell you, let's see here, generating flora, Endoflame, 2 brown petals, 1 light gray, and 1 red. So we need 2 of these, so that is 1. Let's go for let's actually make 2 flowers. And remember, each flower gives you 2 petals, so that's 4. So 1 of these, and then I think it was a red one, right? Okay, and then let's just craft these down into petals. Okay, and then the next thing is getting some seeds, which we actually got some from from that quest. And then let's fill this up. So 1, 1, 1, 2, this, and then let's fill this back up, and then right click with an empty hand to actually repeat the recipe, and then there we go. Okay, so now we have 2 Endoflames, and that should also be a quest complete, which gives us a floating flower. And the cool thing is, of course, floating flowers can be used to make the floating Endoflames, which just make these be a little bit more, you know, a little bit better just because they don't have to worry about where they're planted. Of course, like a normal Endoflame, you can't plant this on cobblestone, so... Okay. And yeah, we're seeing that range of this. So this is actually the range at which it can pick up anything that is burnable. So basically coal, blaze rods, all of that stuff. And then I think, yeah, the overgrowth seed actually makes this work just a little bit faster. So let's actually quickly get a mana spreader down. And I think the range also correlates to this, I think, but I'm not sure. So we'll place that right there. And then with our Wand of the Forest, let's make sure that these are linked. Okay, so now it's got a check mark. If this wasn't linked, of course, you can see there's that X again. There we go. All right, and then we're going to place a mana pool here. Just, you know, right there. That sounds good. And I'm going to run up here and grab some coal. We'll just grab a few coal blocks. And this can only accept one at a time, so until it's done burning, you know, you can't do anything. Oh, is my magnet going to be a problem? I did make a magnet off camera. I don't remember if I ever mentioned that. But this is just a simple recipe. Nothing too crazy. So it's just good to have so I don't throw everything into the void, you know? There we go. And then, of course, let's make sure this is bound to this. Okay, so I'm just going to make a Manasteel ingot here. And the reason I'm making Manasteel ingots, of course, is to make a Manasteel mesh. That is the main reason why I want to get into Botania. So we're not going to get really too deep into Botania yet. I just wanted to get this Manasteel mesh, which completes part of one quest, which is... I guess it completes this one. That's pretty cool. So we actually got a sourceberry pie from Ars Nueva. And we've got this black cur lotus. What in the world? I guess there's two variations. But if you drop this into a mana pool, it actually boosts up the mana. And then sourceberry pie. Let's just eat that up real quick. So, amethyst. Amethyst. Crafting a Manasteel mesh will make you more noticeable to magic users of the world. If you're lucky, a fairy might spawn, convert a nearby diamond block into budding amethyst. Given time or judicious use of a time in a bottle, amethyst clusters will grow. Once fully grown, they can be harvested. Amethyst also can be looted or traded from piglins. Amethyst columns are very useful for farming and creating additional amethyst. Check out the quest in the Ars Nueva. Okay. So that's what I thought. Getting the Manasteel mesh actually activates this. And that's why there's a diamond block sitting here, by the way, is because I wasn't 100% sure what we needed to do. But it turns out that we needed to just get a Manasteel mesh. And I think I'm going to set this actually down here. This whole bottom side really isn't being used for anything. It's just the actual underbelly of that. So this should be a nice area. So 1, 2, 3, 4 diamond block. Okay. And sooner or later, this should convert into an amethyst or a budding amethyst block, which means then we can start getting amethyst, okay? And the reason we, of course, want to get amethyst is to get amethyst mesh, to get then netherite scraps, and then netherite scraps can then be used for basically everything. And I'm only going to place 4 of these, so I'm not really going to go too crazy with this. So 1, 2, here, 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 and here. Okay. So we're just going to wait for these to turn into budding amethyst, and maybe we'll create a system to automate this. But for right now, automate the actual amethyst crystals. But for right now, we're just going to leave them right there, and hopefully sooner or later a magical fairy will come by and wiggle their wand or lick the blocks or whatever they do and become budding amethyst. All right. So what do we use a Manasteel mesh for? I don't know if there's actually really any improvement for a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm kind of confused why most of these meshes exist, because it seems like they really don't do a whole lot. So if we look at, like, actually just look at the sifter, right? Let's actually look at dust. This is something I was kind of curious about. So dust, you can see that we have the andesite mesh. So the Manasteel mesh actually gives you a chance of Certus quartz dust, blaze powder, glowstone, but these are like the same chances, right? So the only real thing that you're getting from this is cinnabar and Certus quartz. But of course, if you do amethyst, you get Certus quartz, cinnabar, and skystone. So it's kind of like once you get to that point of amethyst, Manasteel is completely obsolete. So for like dust, it's a cool thing. For sand, sand really okay. So you get prismarine crystals and prismarine shards, and you kind of keep everything else from the andesite mesh. Manasteel, a non-waterlogged version. Okay, so Manasteel is like your non-waterlogged. Can give you bamboo, cactus, quartz dust, cocoa beans, and that. Let's look at gravel. We might as well. Sifting. So andesite mesh gives you all of this stuff. And then amethyst gives you a chance of getting geodes from tetra. Or raw uranium and fluorite. Okay. And the thing is with this actually wouldn't really be a major, like, difference or anything. All I need to do is add a couple more drawers, and however in the world we mess with geodes, because Tetra, it has been a minute since I messed with Tetra. But yeah, that is definitely gonna be interesting. Okay. So, it looks like there are some benefits, but others, it might not be the best idea. Okay. And then I think crushed endstone. That's the other one. So this actually, Manasteel Mesh gives you a 30% chance of ender pearls, and an amethyst one gives you dimensional shards. Okay. So nothing like too crazy, but I think we would be best off getting that as soon as possible. Looks like we are doing pretty decent over here. And quickly, I forgot to do this a little bit ago, where I forgot to actually link these together. So let's lock that drawer. Yeah, that ain't linked. Okay. But everything's working. That's another good thing. Everything seems to be functioning. I am really, honestly, genuinely excited to see where this pack takes us. I hope we'll have Budding Amethyst by next episode. I'm thinking about maybe kind of pausing on doing anything with like progressing in materials. I want to kind of get towards refined storage. I know that's like something that's not really that important, but I'd really love to be able to get refined storage up and going. Oh, and it looks like we may be forced to use AE2. Hold on. Like, not like forced, but kind of pushed into getting that for a controller. Okay, so yes, they are changing the recipes. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Ooh, okay. Definitely a changed recipe here. Okay, how do we get Certus Quartz in this pack? So it looks like Certus Quartz Dust. How do we... Let's check the book here. So we're just kind of prepared for maybe for next episode, maybe. In this pack, both AE2 and Refined Storage need Certus Quartz. Luckily, it's simple. Just sift dust through a mana mesh. Certus Quartz dust can be converted to Certus Quartz in Mechanism's Enriching Chamber. Oh, we're going down that path, aren't we? There's a lot to think about, right? And I'm kind of excited. I mean, there is going to be a lot of questions we have to answer with AE2, and I think that is going to be very interesting. And of course, I'm going to go for refined storage this time, but since we are going to be kind of forced to get into refined storage, just to get into applied energistics, that's kind of where I'm going to think about going with this. I also kind of need to mute these leaf blocks, but thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!